Hey guys, before we start in today's episode, who actually is SPK Unlimited, I just wanted to let you know that this episode is also sponsored by SPK Unlimited. And now, enjoy and have fun. Hello and a dear welcome to another episode of Tim's Voicemails. And today I got a very, very special guest. Well, for me, he's a very special guest. And that's Alex of SPK Unlimited. Hey, man. Good to have you here.
How's it going?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good, especially with the Lamia of yours. I'm doing really good. Yeah, so Alex, you are the owner and the man behind SPK Unlimited, right?
That is correct.
And until recently, you were a one-man army.
Yes.
Was it this week or past week?
It was last week.
Last week, yeah. So fresh in the books.
Oh, yeah.
Two-man show now, right?
Yes.
Okay. So just to start, we are diving a bit deeper into it's a deep dive into SPK Unlimited, right? Today. Mm-hmm. So the first question I always ask is, has EDC always played a role in your life?
Yeah, I think it has, and it started at like an earlier age because I was in the Cub Scouts, Boy Scouts, growing up.
Oh yeah, okay.
And so we had, as soon as you got your totem chip, which is like this, card or whatever to carry a pocket knife, I started carrying a pocket knife, and then
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, so so it's like you're super excited, like being like, I don't know, 10, 11, 12, like carrying around a knife, and it's like,
oh yeah, man.
It's a pretty powerful thing, I guess, when you're that young. And then throughout my years, just changing up what I actually carry and stuff like that. And then I really didn't get hardcore into everything until like I want to say 2012, around there is when I started to get hardcore into like, not so much collecting, but having multiple of a knife, whether it be, CRKT was like the first entry level type thing that I got into. So, and then from there it just grew, and now we're here.
Yeah, I totally understand what you are saying, because for me it's like the same. Yeah? I were in the Scouts as well. In Germany we call them Pfadfinder, Pathfinder, right? So that's basically the same. Yeah. And for me, same idea, same story. First knife, yeah, and that's just a dream come true for a boy in the age of 10, 12.
Yeah, exactly.
But for me, it was like Opinel from France and Victorinox from Switzerland, right? So different models.
Absolutely, yeah.
So when did you first come into contact with making knives? Was there always the interest behind the design structure and the making of the knives?
So I've always been into like making stuff, but when it turned into like knives. So like growing up, like I would make, wooden knives with my grandfather and stuff, and he was always into like making stuff like as far as things out of metal. He was a machinist for a canning company, but getting into the whole knife making thing didn't start until roughly, I want to say 2017, when I bought my first house. I had a garage, so it was like, oh, I have all this room to like do stuff. And so around the same time, like I was on, different Reddit forums and things of that nature, and talking to people about stuff, and then trying to, get into like making stuff. So I basically just used a bench grinder and ground a piece of metal into a knife shape, and I was like, oh, this is fun. Like I could do this. This is like therapeutic, so I could like do this. and then it just spiraled out of control to where it is now.
So you're like one of these garage boys.
Yeah, pretty much. Like started out as a garage boy, made a bunch of knives. They were no means great, and then kind of honed my skills over a few years, and then kind of entered back into it, and then used proper steels, and you know learned about heat treating and all of that stuff, and edge geometry, and then really took a look at like designing and things of that nature.
So you said 2017, right?
Yeah.
You started as the quote unquote garage boy.
Oh yeah.
So that's a pretty steep learning curve, right? From 2017 to 2024, 7 years. And now the Lamia and the Shark, which are all beautiful and perfectionist knives, right?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it was definitely a steep learning curve, but for some reason, all my life I've been really good at just when I get backed into a corner, just kind of coming out on top. I don't know what it is, but it just makes me work that much harder to kind of get things done,
Okay.
and things of that nature.
Yeah, that's pretty much to your advantage, right, in this situation.
Oh yeah.
So, do you have, as a background, are you an engineer,
No.
mechanist? No.
No, not at all. I went to school for marketing and
Okay.
the
So,
whole
a whole different topic, right?
a whole different topic. And then the company I worked for prior to doing this full time was I used to make digital maps, so like photogrammetry, things of that nature, like
Okay.
applying elevations to images taken out of the sky and stuff like that. So technical background, but like not technical in
That
the
technical.
engineering sense of the
Yeah.
word.
That's something that got me really stunned because when I think about it, that's you have to know so much about machining knife parts, right? Do you machine the blade before heat treat, after heat treat? All these different aspects have impact on how you mill it, right?
Absolutely, yeah. But I had to like learn all that stuff.
Yeah, but I mean, it paid off, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I wouldn't trade it for anything, honestly.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, that's when I started following you on Instagram. I instantly got hooked by your passion for your brand because you share so much on social media. You go live every day, I think, or close to every day on Instagram. You share so much, even if you have any questions about something you needed to calculate it. Also, it's a few months back, I guess. You posted, "Hey man, hey guys, I need a mathematician," blah blah blah, all that stuff, and that's so awesome, because some brands just post their new knives and everybody, oh yeah, great new knife. But you give your followers such a deep dive into your brand on your Instagram.
Yeah, and I think that's something that I learned probably from marketing. Really showing everyone how quote unquote the sausage is made, so to speak. I think people are more apt to follow and purchase your product if they can see how everything is like done. Like how is this process done? How do you do it compared to everyone else? And I've
Yeah.
noticed over the last few years that some companies have been utilizing that. They've been like giving little shop tours or whatever to kind of boost their following. But I think that's a really good thing. Like I think a lot of smaller guys should take advantage of that, especially with social media. Like it's right there at your fingertips. You can just take a video, show people stuff, ask questions, and if people have questions, they can ask you, and you can be really interactive. Whereas like
Yeah.
larger companies, they'll have like a marketing department. They won't even go down to the shop floor. They don't know what's going on. They'll just, you know. So I think it really is really something that helped my brand grow and grow and grow. Because even when I was in the garage, like I call them the garage days, like when I was in the garage, I would still just shoot videos and do lives and show everyone like what is going on with all of this stuff.
Yeah, that's I don't know the English word right now, but that's very, very special for you, or that makes you very special, so to say, because not everyone is doing that.
No.
And I wish there would be more people doing that,
Yeah, I
because
think
it's
a lot of people do.
so much, it's so fucking interesting, right?
Yeah, it is.
So yeah, that was the point you got me. Yeah, since then I saw the Lamia and the design of it. You see it's a knife, but there are no aggressive parts on it, right? It's very elegant. You see it's a knife, it's a tool, it wants to be used, and it cuts like crazy, but there's nothing tactical or all that stuff that maybe got non-knife people like, oh my god, he got a knife, right? And
Right.
that's the most amazing part of it.
And yeah, and that's what kind of what I was shooting for with that design, like because since the 1980s, like everything was just really tactical, in your face,
Yeah.
rough or hard edges and things like that. And it's just like I respect that design language, but I don't see myself doing something like that. Maybe down the road I could change my mind, but I don't see like going that tactical route when there's so many different tactical designs out there. I think
Yeah.
trying to be more elegant and also have, a use for this tool is far more challenging than just like, it's like designing like a Porsche versus like a dump truck. It's like that much of that end of the spectrum. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, it's mine arrived last week Wednesday, and since then I wasn't able to pull it out of my pockets because of the elegance and this. It's a knife. People register it as a knife, but it's not like provoking anything. But in non-knife people, right? And that's the amazing part, especially here in Germany. Our knife laws are pretty rough and pretty strict. And then if you have a knife that's not looking aggressive, it's a pretty big upgrade for us, right? So
absolutely.
easy pocket keeper.
Yeah.
So how did you come up with the name SPK Unlimited?
So SPK stands for Steingraber Performance Knives, and then instead of having that long word, I was like, I just shorten it. I'll just use all the letters from that, and then Unlimited I added on later when I became an LLC, because I wanted to kind of open up any possibility in any kind of manufacturing direction I could go in. So just having that unlimited kind of set it apart instead of having like SPK manufacturing, whereas a lot of companies in the United States just add MFG or manufacturing to the end of their name. I could just
Yeah.
be unlimited and then no limits.
Yeah. The Unlimited got me because a few years back I played Magic the Gathering, a trading card game. I don't know if you know it.
Yep.
And Unlimited was a format you could play. And at that point I was, oh, well, that reminds me of my card playing days, right?
There you go.
So, okay, so Steingraber is Steingraber, we would say in Germany.
Yes. That's how you're supposed to say it. Stone grabber.
Yeah. So have you roots over here or your family?
I'm not sure. I haven't really looked into it, but I had a buddy that frequented different countries of the world, and that's how he pronounced it. And then we kind of looked things up and was like, oh, your name means stone grabber in German. So I was like, that's pretty cool.
So Steingraber Performance Knives Unlimited.
Yeah.
Now I really understand the short form of
Yeah.
it. Yeah. So when did knife making become your full-time job?
So when the world shut down, essentially, so during
Okay, COVID, like it.
during COVID, and
Yeah.
we were sent home from work, and we were allowed to clock in and work from home. And so what I would do is I'd clock into work, and then I would go make knives, and then um, I was like doing the math, and I was like, if I just dedicated more time to the knife making, I could produce, way more knives and provide for my family still, and not be so
Awesome.
stressed out. So that's when I took the leap and just went full time and figured it out.
And paid off.
Yeah.
Um, so you made your passion and dedication become your bread and butter, right?
Absolutely.
That's the thing so many people aim for, right?
Yeah.
Making your hobby and your most passionate interests into something you can earn money and provide for your family. So that must been a huge relief for you, right? Relief maybe isn't the right word, but I hope you understand what I mean.
Yeah. And it's, I think a lot of people, like you said, want to do that. But the big thing is just taking that formal step, because it's a very,
Yeah,
very scary step.
absolutely.
I don't know if you've ever been skydiving, but it's like that. And then when you skydive and you're falling through the sky, you're like, this is pretty awesome. And then when you hit the ground, you're like, this is really awesome. And so I think people have some sort of fear of doing that. But then once they do, I think everything is going to be okay. Because really, if you think about it now, you're kind of like, if you have a full-time job or whatever, you're kind of like relying on that company to be successful. And like, if you're putting your all into that company and then you're not really getting anything out of it, it's that's kind of craziness. And if you could put that much effort into something you love and love to do every day, and you're going to become successful to a degree, then I think that's a way better use of your time than giving it
Definitely.
to someone else that doesn't
Yeah,
really reward you for anything.
yeah, 100%. Definitely, yeah. Being your own boss always has drawbacks and very many what do you say it, positive impacts on your life, right? Because you don't have anyone who you have to tell, hey man, I fucked up or something like that, right?
Yep.
So
Yeah.
you are just on your own. That has some risks but many wins of it, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. And the rewards definitely outweigh the risks.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
like when you're with you know a 9 to 5 job or something like that, then it's like you don't really see the risks, and you also rarely see rewards.
So but you in that aspect you also outweigh the time you spend on your 9 to 5, right?
Yeah.
Weekends and all that stuff.
Yeah.
um Would you say 2017 was also the founding year of SPK?
I would say yeah, that was probably the founding year. I didn't really get a DBA until a couple of years after that, and then
Mhm.
LLC after that. But as far as like really designing and setting things in stone, that was the year.
And then the actual year of becoming self-employed was
uh Probably,
2020.
yeah, 2019, 2020. Oh, no, it's 2020. Yeah, like right when everything got shut down, pretty much.
Awesome. So and now you are in a small hall, I think, with two CNC machines, um, one guy helping you with all the stuff. You got like correct me if I'm wrong, 3 knife models running, the most prominent being the Lamia and the Shark, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And what fascinated me the most in the past weeks on your Instagram account was that the Shark was published by you for 125 USD.
Yep.
And that just broke my mind, to be honest.
Yeah. So that was something like when I was in the garage days, like kind of figuring out pricing, and I wanted to keep it fair because I know there's a lot of guys that would sell fixed blades for anywhere from $200 to $250 American, and I thought it was kind of silly at the time. And then especially some of the steels that I use. So K390 was one of the first ones that came out, and that's a really high wear resistant steel. And I was like, I really want to make this affordable for people, so I priced it. I can't remember what I even priced that at. I think it was like 150 or something like that.
Mhm.
Might have been less money than that, but people were like blown away. And the fact that I was going to be running it at like 66 HRC, they thought that it was an awesome deal. So then I kind of just took that method with the fixed blade and just kept it going with other steels. So I was like, all right, let's do M4 and let's run it hard and let's have it affordable and things of that nature. And then when I got my machines, I wanted to also just have a little bit of that savings passed down to the customer, because really I'm not doing a lot of the work that I was doing before. So I shouldn't
Yeah.
charge more money. I should charge, in fact, less money. And then, so that's what I did with the Shark. And once that, you know, once that came through and everything looked good and the quality was where I wanted it to be, I was like, yeah, we can definitely sell this at a lower cost. And kind of, I don't know if it pissed people off, but I really don't care. And I just want to be, I want to be more fair to the customer than anything.
Yeah,
Because really that's who's paying your bills at the end of the day. It's not
exactly.
the other guy in the other knife shop paying your bills. It's your customers. So if you can please them, then you you've got a winning formula.
I think with that, you really hit a sweet spot in the community as well, right? Because I think they went like crazy. They were
Oh,
instantly gone.
oh yeah. It's like 5 seconds they were gone.
Yeah, that's so awesome, right? Because you, with lowering the price, it's also a risk for you, right?
I mean, somewhat. If you're creative in how you get material and things of that nature, and then you figure out all of your pricing and how to pay for your workers and all that stuff, I think you'll be in a good spot. But I mean, keeping things very simple, like using natural micarta, for instance, and just buying a bunch of it, you're going to
Mm.
save on costs there. And then other hardware and things, like there's no titanium hardware on it, so I saved money there, and just passing all of those savings down, and I think is something that people need to take into consideration, especially if you're going to be making a lot of one thing. Really, all of the work is done up front, and then once you have those things dialed in, as far as the machining and all of that, like once that's dialed in, you just keep loading it and you're good to go. So really, there's no added costs once everything is kind of paid for, like your fixturing and all that. Then it should be pure profit after
Hmm.
a degree of time. And so
So
I would rather take a loss up front and then make it back in the back end than
okay,
just
okay.
charge a bunch of money up front.
Yeah. Um, so there would also be the possibility that the first batch of a new design or product would be a bit more expensive, and then the cost or the price the customer has to pay lowers from batch to batch.
Yeah. So inherently, yeah, things could get less expensive. And like, I'm working on another folder design right now, and I don't intend
Oh.
on raising the price of this folder versus the Lamia. I want to keep them right in line with each other, since that's
Mhm.
something that people expect, like the price to kind of be similar. So it should be within $25 of the other one.
So we are talking 725 to 7075.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, okay. But I also have to say that's a pretty dollar, but a fair price to call for such an awesome product. Because when I buy a knife or I get a new knife, there's always something like, okay, the lock sticks a bit, or the bearings don't run as smoothly as they could. And as Lamia arrived, I flicked it, and it ran perfectly, buttery smooth, and instantly in love. And since then, yeah, I said it, I guess, about 300 times in the past 25 minutes. I can't get it out of my hands or my pockets. Usually, I'm not a guy flicking knives while driving, but Lamia permanently flicking it.
Yeah,
um,
and that's what I'm going for. Is just people to like it that much.
so the Shark and the Lamia have some parallels, right? And design wise.
Yeah, absolutely.
If
Yep.
you so I think of it like the Shark being the smaller fixed version of the Lamia.
Mm-hmm.
But the Shark was the design before the Lamia, or did the Shark come after the Lamia?
Yeah, so the shark came before the Lamia, and then the Sasquatch, and then it was the Lamia.
Ah, okay. So, talking about the Lamia, or in general, how do you come up with new designs?
So like the most, so like when I wanted to make the Lamia, I was like, I just wanted to make a shark that's a folder, and so I started down that path and kind of stole some of the curves from the shark, and then kind of had to tweak a bunch of stuff. And I was like learning the CAD software at the time, so I had to like figure all that out as I was learning all this other stuff, and then asking friends that had higher end knives, like how does this person do this, and so on and so forth, and then finally figuring it all out and kind of just shoving it all together and then making it and then tweaking things as I go. And that's a big thing with the Lamia is that I've always practiced like Kaizen with it, so constant improvement and always trying to improve on it until I get to a point where it's good. And I think we're pretty much there, so that's nice.
Just a few days back, you tweaked something, right?
Yep.
Because it was a milling in the lock bar
Yeah.
because of the lock bar tension, right? Because you couldn't
Yep.
get rid of the burr that good.
Yep. So if you look at this, I know people can't see it, but basically it has a 1/8 inch, so a 3 millimeter, essentially slot in the back here, and that gets rid of this burr that I've been dealing with for a while. And so when I go to tumble it, it'll tumble nicely and not be there. But it also, to a degree, changes the lock bar tension, which I just need to push the lock bar a little bit further, and it fixes everything. So just little tweaks like that.
So for you people listening and not being able to see what Alex just described, huge advice: follow that guy on Instagram. It's amazing what he shares and the deep looks you can get into his work. It's fascinating. So give him a follow and just consume his content, and you won't come around not being a fan.
Appreciate it.
So the Lamia was more or less is basically, yeah, it is the folding shark.
Mm-hmm.
Would you call the Lamia a one and done EDC option?
For me, yeah. I mean, when I have it in the pocket, it doesn't leave. Like I carried one for an entire year and it didn't leave the pocket, and it was just always there, always worked. Never had any issues with it. So, in my brain, I would definitely call it a one and done for sure.
Who would you advise the Lamia to buy? I mean, that's a pretty dumb question, actually, right? Because you would say, yeah, everyone should buy one, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But thinking about the fundamentals, there are tactical guys. They are like you, just the basic EDC guys like me. So if you are more into the tactical stuff and really hard use, like sometimes betoning wood or something like that, the Lamia may not be the perfect option for you, right? But if you're just the basic EDC guy, the Lamia is the option.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's like I put it in my head as it arrived, and I cut cardboard boxes. I cut some sausages with it, all that stuff. I even opened beer with it. No problem. It gets every job done, and that's the thing. It has to be done. It has to get done, right?
Yeah,
Everything you need to get done from day to day.
yep, absolutely.
So you have the Lamia, Sasquatch, Shark,
Mm-hmm.
and I think in EDC tray in aluminum.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Are there any plans on developing? You just said you are working on a new folder. Is there anything you might want to tease us?
Yeah, I mean, I can show you. I didn't print out the blade, but essentially, and this isn't like a finished scale by any stretch of the imagination, but it's going to be a longer, like a larger design and have a lot of sort of Japanese and styled curves on them.
Mm-hmm.
Similar to like a full size Shiro in size, so not super big,
Oh, okay.
but a full size, and flipper only. So just have a flipper tab on the back to
Oh, okay,
be
okay,
able to
okay.
deploy it. No holes or anything like that, and full flat grind.
Full flat, okay. Sounds good. I'm pretty stoked what you will make of it.
I am
Because
too, because I'm just kind of rolling with it right now, and like I think people will enjoy it once it's finalized or gets to the finalization point. And I haven't announced the name yet, and I'm gonna hold off on that for a little while because I think people will be pumped about it. But yeah, it's just something that I want to do. Um, it utilizes the name and all the features in it should be coherent with the name, and just having a flipper in the lineup is something that I've always wanted.
so how is your R&D process going? Just in general, right? R&D, research and design. You just said you printed it, so you 3D print, I
Yeah,
guess.
yep, 3D printed
You
it out of plastic,
Mhm.
and then I get kind of a feel for it, and I'm like, okay, we should probably change some aspects of it. It might be too pointy here or too many curves here, and then I'll go back and tweak it, and then I'll print it again, and then once it's like it feels good in the hand and it's a good size, then I'll design the rest of it, finish it all, and then print a full one, and then assemble it out of plastic, and then assemble it, and then kind of get a feel for it, and then we should be ready for like hard prototypes and stuff.
so while you are running the 3D printing process, there's the CAD version running in the background with it,
Yeah.
or yeah, okay. Um, so what is your personal highlight in the history of SPK Unlimited?
So far, the the Lamia being well received in the community, which is kind of wild, and it's being like put up against the Chris Reeves Sabenza and things of that nature, and it's getting to become like a timeless design, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, for me, it actually absolutely is. I cannot imagine other knife that will stay that time in my pockets without the need of changing it because or adapting it to any style. If I'm going to a let's say a wedding or something, or just going out with my friends, the Lamia can always go with me.
Absolutely.
And yeah. So is that also something you are aiming with your new design?
Probably. I mean, I would like to be. I would like all my designs to be as timeless as designers and companies before me, but um, that's not always the case. But in the prototyping phase, like once everything's kind of figured out and we get to prototyping, I will be doing pass arounds and stuff like that and getting more feedback on what
Oh, awesome.
people actually expect and want, and then I can make those small tweaks as I go, just like I did with the
Mm.
Lamia. Like I'm not gonna change the way that I do things. I'm always gonna constantly improve on the designs and things like that, just to get them to the point where people are happy with them.
Where are you drawing your inspiration from?
On this new design, it's
In general.
in general, I just think of something like a topic. I try to not look at other knives and like be like, oh, it'd be cool if I had this knife in this version, because I think a lot of people do that, and you end up kind of limit yourself on where you could go with it. But with any design, I just kind of think about either an animal or a topic or something. Like this is like sort of just Japanese inspired. So anything Japanese, just kind of throw at it and kind of get it into that, that cultural realm, and then kind of add on my little twist, I guess, um, and go from there. But usually just get my inspiration from just thinking about a thing, and then like let's see what this looks like, or let's see where this can go, because I don't always have an end goal in my head. It's always about the journey for me. It's never about the
Yeah.
destination. And then once we get close to the destination, I kind of tap on people's shoulders and say, hey, what can I do to improve this, and things like that.
The journey is the destination, right? Isn't
Always.
it?
Always.
Just embrace the process, so to
Yep.
say.
Yep.
um, how would you put SPK Unlimited in 3 words?
Oh, oh no. I was waiting for this question, and I've been thinking about it for a while. Honestly, um, uh, I just for SPK, I just want to just constantly improve on any product that we make, and also make it so the customer feels like they have some sort of input on some aspect of
Mhm.
our products. Because I'm not really there's a handful of products where like all of these I kind of just designed for myself, but then as things took off, I was like, oh, I should also incorporate the customer in all this stuff too, because they're ultimately the ones that are going to be purchasing this product. So all of it starts with an idea that I have, and then I really rely on the customer to take it to the next level, really. Um, but as far as words, I really can't put it into words, um, describing, you know, SPK. Maybe just a company for the people. I don't know. It's-
It's a tough one, right?
it
Because
really is.
I I always try to think of words as well, and especially with the Lamia in hand, I really had a difficult time finding words to describe it in just 3. That's and now I that's one point or a moment where I understand how hard this question can be for people, and I'm the one asking it, right? um, so, Alex, where can people find you? Instagram?
Yep.
Uh,
So Instagram, it's at Alex Steingraber on Instagram, and then uh, email. So SPKULTD allrounder@gmail.com. And then we also have a Discord server. So if you want to be in the Discord server, just hit me up in an email, and then I'll send you the link to the Discord. We try to like not let the Discord just have free reign and kind of just take people as they come, so to speak. Because it's really a self-governing Discord server. I have one mod. That's it. So everyone else in there is just they'll moderate and keep people in line. So that's nice. But yeah, there's no Facebook. I have a Discord, so it's mostly a lot of the stuff is done on there and Instagram. So those are the two main spots.
So also no YouTube channel.
There is a YouTube channel, but I've not updated it in a while. So I will be doing that at some point, but I don't know when. But yeah, follow me on YouTube as well.
So YouTube is like a retro perspective of SPK.
I have got two accounts on there. I got my personal account and then the business account. So a lot of the stuff that I used to do is on the personal account, and then the business account, I have some videos on there, but nothing more recent.
All right. Awesome. Alex, it was a joy to have you on my podcast, really.
Well, thank you for the opportunity.
You are very, very much welcome. I really appreciate you taking the time. I'm very excited of our future together, right? Because we are planning on some stuff, working together, and I'm really, really grateful for you having me.
Absolutely, man. Appreciate it.
All right, so you heard the man. Follow him on Instagram, Facebook, Discord, everything you will find in the show notes. And Alex, it was a joy. And everyone out there, have a good day and see you around. Bye-bye.
See ya.